first grade is mandatory reading.
Yeah. So we're just leaving the theater. We got in the car, set up the camera. We got Mommy in the back because we got Cody in the front today. And Maddie's right in the middle. Say hi, Maddie.
Hi.
Show us what you just won at the theater, the game. Look at that. You got...
I just won a junior mint ball.
A junior mint ball.
There's
It's one of those grab machines, and this is play till you win, so that's always cool.
show them closer.
No, you can see it clearly, baby. This thing is in HD right here. So, what was the movie we saw today, guys? Oh, let me have one of the tickets. You have the ticket to the movie theater?
It was Thecallofthewild. Good movie.
What do your initial response right now is? It was a good movie?
Great movie. Great movie.
Great movie. What about you, Maddie?
Amazing.
Amazing? Wow, those are some high...
Thumbs up.
Daddy.
Hi, thumbs up.
Cody, do you have the movie ticket on you?
No, I would have it.
Didn't you leave it with Cody for me at the place for me to...
You took it from me.
I left it with the cashier.
Yeah, you took it from me.
You left the theater with the... You left
Here
it...
it goes.
All right, cool. All right, so these are our tickets. And we just came out of the theater. You know, everybody requires receipts nowadays. So this is our receipt.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing, buddy. Boom. Call of the Wild. And what's great about this theater, it's in Bloomfield, New Jersey, and if you get there before 6 o'clock, all movies before 6 o'clock are $5. So it's a great thing to do, bring the kids. And let me also say this movie is a, gotta stop doing that. This movie is a...
A little bit of shooting.
A little bit of shooting?
PG.
It's a PG movie.
PG.
It's a family movie. Yeah, there was some shooting in it though, but there was no blood or anything like that. Even when the dog, one of the dogs grabbed the rabbit and killed the rabbit, there was no blood on the white rabbit or on the white snow.
Do you remember when the guy when they were fighting the guy in the bar, the evil guy, he sucker punched him and there was blood going down his beard?
No, I didn't see that.
And when they came back, the guy, he was searching for them and he found him, so he hit him in the face with his gun and there was blood all over here. All over here, all over there.
Oh, you see, I didn't notice that. As far as I saw, there was no blood. But I would give this movie, start off 2 thumbs up. If you're with your family, go see it. The poster shows Harrison Ford on the poster. And Harrison Ford doesn't even come into the movie until the last... He doesn't have any pivotal role until like the last 30 minutes of the movie. And I would... wait, Mom, did you say what did you think of the movie?
I enjoyed the movie as well. I thought it was a good family movie.
A good family movie.
All of us were there.
Yes, exactly. So we all showed up, and I always, when I do reviews, guys, I like to start off with how the movie opens up, because the opening of a movie is always so important. And do you guys remember how the movie started initially? How it opened up? Cody, Maddie?
Oh yeah, because wait.
Now take your time and think. Maddie?
Oh yeah, he was with his family and they were having a big feast.
Okay, that's 5 minutes into the movie.
Yeah, he was
I'm talking about how did the movie open up?
The movie opened up with the dog. He was with, like, this man was riding on a bike, and then he started following him, and then
okay, almost. That's not the opening, but that's close. That's Cody went 5 minutes, you went 1 minute. So what's the beginning? How are we introduced to the dog? How are we even introduced to the story?
Because he was like chasing the bike, what Maggie said, but before that it was like there was this dog and it was like a guy speaking.
Okay, exactly. There was a narration of the movie. So the narration of the movie was Harrison Ford's voice. So he didn't start off he did start off the movie, but we didn't see his face for quite some time.
We only saw his face in like the 20 minutes.
Yeah, it appeared. It took some time.
The black man you talking about?
No, Harrison Ford is the man with the white beard who took the dog to find Call of the Wild to find himself. He took him to find the gold. No, to find the gold. The guy who took the dog.
White hair?
Yeah, the white hair. At the end, that man that was with the dog. Because I don't want to give away the ending. I don't want to have any spoilers alert. Spoiler alert. So we're not going to give up the ending, okay? We're not going to talk about anything good or anything bad that happened at the end. We're going to just let the audience, when they go, they can experience that, because we don't want this to be a spoiler alert review. So the movie opens up with the narration of Harrison Ford's voice, and then we are introduced to this huge dog. The first thing they wanted us to see from the very beginning was a dog. Wow, there's a train coming by.
And it's annoying.
See, if this was a Mercedes, you won't hear anything. But this is a Hyundai, so you're gonna hear a lot. So, yeah. Mercedes has a lot of insulation. But anyway, let's not get off. Yeah, let's not get off track. Yeah, give that back to your sister, and don't put this in front of your face or anything like that, Maddie. So now, the first thing they wanted us to know, this movie wanted us to know from the very beginning, that this dog is huge. They wanted us to see the contrast between the people and where the dog was walking and all of that. Let me get that, baby. You're distracting. So let's stop this, okay? I need you to learn how to focus, and these are the kind of times where you're going to have to start learning how to focus, okay, baby? We're not going to be here long. It's going to be a few minutes. And I enjoyed the instantly learning that this dog is a humongous dog. And this dog is a dog that basically ran the town. And this dog was affluent. The owners of this dog lived in some sort of plantation style house, and the house was absolutely, he had about, how many servants did they have in the kitchen cooking the food? Did you guys notice that?
Yeah.
Like 6?
Like at least 6 people. And this movie takes place, do you know the timeline it took place? When did this movie took place?
It was took place in the west side and like a big farm, I guess.
Yeah, well, it was in the south. This was a southern.
What?
Wait, no.
It started off in. Let me tell you what I mean. You don't understand what I mean. And now that I say this, you'll get it next time. This movie takes place in the late 1800s, early 1900s. Okay, so this is before cars. Well, not even 1900. This is in the 1800s. Maybe, was it 17? No, it's 1800s. There was no slaves, but there was some men carrying ice. One of the men were black, and when the dog started to lick the ice, he was licking the ice. One of the people that were carrying the ice, he said in a very southern, very slave voice, he said, "That's such and such dog. Don't shush that dog away. Let him lick the ice if he wants to lick the ice, because this dog belongs to such and such and such and such." Yeah, like a judge, right? It was a judge. So I actually like that. I was glad to see something that looked a little period, where it was in the 1800s. We have a guy carrying ice who's black, and it almost was like within the first 15 seconds you see a black man. So I like that part. That made me feel good. And then you guys remember what happened? All right, so then the dog makes it to, well, they just wanted us to see that this dog is way too big. This dog is bumping everybody, bumping everything, and the dog likes to be in the house. The dog likes to eat all the food. One guy offers the dog a piece of bread, and in this hand, he breaks off a bread from his sandwich, and he offers the bread to the dog. And what does the dog do?
I don't want the little piece. I want the whole thing.
Yeah, so the dog is like running all up and down the town, eating big sandwiches, having all this. Let me just also say this though. The whole entire town was popping. People were moving and grooving. People were up. It was hustling and bustling going on. It was a very metropolis situation. And then we realized that the person who owns the dog is asleep in the bed and the children are asleep. Did you notice that?
I did. Wait, no, I didn't notice that. I thought he was up eating all the food until the guy took him.
No, he didn't eat all the food, but the food came later when they went to take the big family picture. They had the big feast.
Yeah.
That was later on in the day. But the kids, remember the dog went to wake up the children and bounced on the bed, and the children flipped up and down. They were asleep. The whole entire town was up, bringing ice, moving everything around, hustling and bustling, but the rich people were asleep. People were in the house cooking. All the servants were in the house cooking. But the guy who owned the place, who owned the home, him and his children and his wife were asleep. And I just found that to be interesting. Something like that to me was like, why did they do that? Was this a truth drop? You know, I'm always looking for the truth drops in the room. And this seems like, don't judge the person who's in the bed till 11 o'clock. Okay? Don't do that. Because all forever there's been that guy who's been in the bed till 11 while everybody else slept and they picked up the ice and they got their day together. So I thought that was an interesting part of the movie that a lot of people might not have gotten. That these are rich folk who slept. And one of the things we also saw was there was an ad in the newspaper. Did you see the guy who saw the ad in the newspaper?
Because he picked it up and that was the bad guy in it first. He said that was the guy that was wearing the polka dot. Not polka dot. He was wearing the lumberjack.
Okay.
Did you naturally know that was him, the one who was fighting the guy? That was him who picked up the newspaper. And then he said, ooh, let's take care of this dog because he wanted to do what that did. Because that was the same guy. Yeah, because
the whole premise of the movie is that there's a mail, there are people that need mail. So these are mail carriers, and what they're doing is they're going up these, where are they traveling? Alaska or something like that? It was all going through Alaska, and they was looking for dogs, and they wanted dogs. So they saw this big, huge dog. The guy came at night, steals the dog, sells the dog right on a ship, and the dog is like trying to escape, and the dog comes out and he finds out, whoa, I'm on a ship, and oh my goodness, there's ice and water. Another part that I like, can I tell you?
It was his first time stepping on snow.
Exactly. I love that. I love when the dog stepped on the snow and was like, whoa.
He went like this.
Yes, exactly. So that was really cool for me. Any other cool parts in this beginning stuff? Do you remember? Go ahead, Maddie.
My favorite part was when
No, not the favorite part. We didn't want to get the whole story over.
No. She can tell her favorite part. She just can't tell the ending. No spoiler alerts. Go ahead.
My favorite part is when they were taking a picture when the dog had the turkey or something in his mouth, and they were taking a picture, and then the lady's thing on their hair went.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, because back in the day, you had to stay very still to take a picture. And that was a flash. She was holding the flash. Everybody had to sit still. And then the dog got in the picture with the big turkey drumstick.
And the funny part was then when everyone left, the guy was still standing there. And then there was a lot of meat. And then the guy went like, and then he ripped the whole bone, and then all the chicken went in his mouth.
Yeah, that was a good scene too. It was a lot of great scenes. I have to say, those scenes, it looked very expensive. Like, this was not a cheap movie. No. This was a very expensive movie, yeah. Here's the thing, I don't know if Madison, focus, baby. What's wrong? Something you want to share?
No.
Oh, you just can't keep your mind together.
Yeah.
Come on, let's get this together. So now, even though you're doing good, baby, I'm just hard on you because I'm preparing you for life. So now, did you guys know that this dog was a computer-generated dog?
Yeah, because inside of him, he was a wolf.
No. I'm talking about the dog that you were watching on the screen. Do you know that that was not a real dog? That was all computers? How did you know that?
No dog. No dog is that. No dog. I knew that because it's a movie. It's a movie.
So what? What does that mean? Tell me what that means. It's a movie.
That it would be non-fiction, probably. I mean, it would be fiction.
Fiction, yes. No. I'm not saying that the dog itself didn't exist. The actual dog that they were petting and that was running and jumping was not a real dog. That was all done in
Yeah,
computers.
because no dog can do that. Probably.
I mean, a dog can do that, but you probably need 10 of them, and 3 or 4 of them are going to die along the way.
Yeah.
And, you know, nowadays you can't just be killing animals to make a movie. So,
I didn't know they were good. All of them? All
What?
the dogs were computer generated, isn't
yes. Pretty good job, though, right?
And
I
the
mean,
wolf?
top notch. And the wolves.
know that.
All those dogs, all the wolves, the bears, all that
I have
stuff.
a question.
None of that was real. Maybe some scenes they used real dogs, but for most of the scenes, 99% of it was all computer generated.
Dad, can I tell him
Done
that?
pretty damn, it was pretty good. This is why when you see a movie and you can tell that it looks like a cartoon, like when you ever see Spider-Man and he's fighting, it looks like a damn cartoon, it looks horrible, that's because it's done on purpose. They have the technology to make a really believable thing. They have the technology. You saw that today. That was all amazingly done, really done well.
I have a question.
No, wait, your sister goes first. What, Maddie?
Can I tell my least favorite part?
We don't
Okay,
want no negative.
go ahead.
My least favorite part was when the guy was getting a beer, and then that other guy, he said, "All my dogs left," and then at first he pushed him. He said, "All my dogs left," and then my second favorite part is
Whoa,
when
your second favorite or second worst? Which is the worst part?
the one that I just said.
All right, so let's stop. Cody, you wanted to say something?
You remember when when the dog was jealous of... You remember the wolf was jealous, or some type of dog was a leader?
It wasn't a
and he
wolf,
was
yeah, the
jealous,
leader of the
and
pack.
He was jealous of him, so they fought.
Yeah.
And you remember that wolf that had those cool eyes?
Wait,
Those
you're
weird
jumping.
eyes?
Was it the black wolf?
The black one, and it had those eyes. I have
Yeah.
a question, were those the same people?
No, that's a good question. I was going to get to that. Do you remember when they went in the ice? The lady fell in the ice.
And he said...
And he jumped into the water to save the woman, because they basically are, these are dog sleds. So they stole the dog to sell the dog to a dog sledding team. This dog sledding team was a mail carrier people, then they're delivering mail all through Alaska. And they're going with what they call that, is that a bobsled? Is that a bobsled that's called?
A dog sled.
Oh, bobsled is different. Yeah, right. So some sort of dog sled, and where they have 15 dogs. And there was a leader of the dog pack in the front. And this dog, do you guys remember the dog's name?
Yes.
Say it out loud if you remember it. No, that's the name of the movie. What's the name of the actual dog?
Cody.
Buck.
Good job.
What's his name?
Buck.
Buck. So Buck was in the back because he was a new dog, and I actually like the fact that when the Buck was starting to run, he kept falling. The snow was hitting him in the face. He had no idea how to run with the sled. It took him quite a few days to understand that, where the sled tipped over. And another thing I liked is that there was this Frenchman that was there that was leading the dogs. He was in charge of all the dogs, and there was a woman that was there, the ones that deliver the mail, and he just so happened to be a black man who spoke French, and I think he did a great job.
Well, that letter was telling him to report back to Quebec, so he is Canadian, right?
Yeah, French Canadian. Yeah, by way of Africa. Absolutely. The character was good. His nose was good. His face was good. His accent was good. His body was good. It was so believable that his character and the way he was with the dogs, it makes sense that this man in the 1800s would be leading a team of dogs, and it was all believable for me. And normally I roll my eyes and poo-poo all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I thought he was a little nice. I would expect the man in that position to be a little meaner to the dogs.
You see, yeah, I would think that too, but
Because he gave Buck a second chance.
I mean, he was really nice. You know?
Yeah. The way he talked to the dog, he had such a
smacked him the first time when he tipped over the trail.
Well, he said, "Oh, it's okay. Let's try again."
Nice for that position.
Oh, okay, that's a good assessment. I actually liked it because I was thinking that dogs, when you have this understanding with dogs, you have this kinship with them, and he felt that with all those dogs. And I think and we have to remember it's also a PG movie, so they couldn't have even the dog handler. So maybe what you're saying is more truth to what you're saying, that's how it usually might have been. I don't know about how they handled it, but I enjoyed his character. I think he was a bit of a hero to some degree, even though, did you see how quickly he let because the dog is the alpha dog, who you said was jealous of Buck.
Oh yeah, and you remember when he saved the girl, and then the girl went up. He was like, and the guy was too busy on the girl, and then the guy that was jealous of him was standing right there.
You mean the dog?
The dog, and he wanted to save Buck, so Buck fell down, and then that's when he was like, no, and then he was like playing on the ice, but then the woman gave him a stick and patted it, but the dog was right there next to him.
It wasn't a woman that gave it to him, it was the dog. In other words, the dog got out of the ice. Where he thought the dog might be, wasn't. He found another way out. But do you know how the dog found a way out?
Yeah.
Do you remember how when the dog was under the water, he looked up and he saw that black wolf with those eyes? Do you know what that was? See, that's the whole point of the movie. That black dog was a wolf. And it was, the name of the movie is what?
The Call of the Wild.
I can't hear you.
The Call of the Wild.
The Call of the Wild. That black wolf was his ancestors. Those were the spirits of who he is deep in his blood. What that dog represents was a wolf. And while he was under that water, about to die and couldn't get out, he looked up and he knew right there, if he went to where that wolf was, the ice was going to be thin enough where he can break through it. So that's throughout the whole entire movie. How many times did that black wolf with those green eyes show up?
Like 6 times?
Yeah.
7?
And what was it doing?
It was standing like this.
It was like this.
Yes.
Guiding him.
It was guiding him. It was the call to who he really is. The dog, the wolf inside of this dog. Because scientists say that all dogs came from the wolf. What happened was you had a wolf that slowly came to where humans were, where the fire's at. And then there's another one came. So they got the wolves that came closest to the fire where the people were, they bred them. And then their babies became more docile. See, this movie is a truth drop. And this is why Mommy says that this is the kind of stuff that you read when you're in high school. You read these books. And what a lot of people don't know is that these books and these movies are around for a reason. Because basically the wolf, all dogs, if you were to take the dog's blood and you take it to a laboratory and you take it to a scientist, you'll find out that all inside of every dog, there's a wolf. Even the littlest, cutest little dog has the DNA and the blood of a wolf. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
That the littlest, cutest little dog, if you take the blood, you put it into you take it to the laboratory, you look at it in a microscope, you do all the tests, it's going to have the original of that dog. The main core of that dog is wolf. And that's what the wild was calling him. The wolf inside of him kept calling him everywhere he went, and it was saving him. You remember when there was the
Oh yeah, when he went under the icicles and he was like, stop, and then he saw that thing up there, and then
it's called an avalanche. When the avalanche,
and he saw his ancestors, so he went to.
Yes, the ancestors guided him and led him. His inner knowing, that's what that's called. You have something that's called your inner knowing. You know when something is not safe. You know when you shouldn't be going into.
Ancestors?
You do have ancestors.
Who?
Your ancestors came from Africa. Your ancestors came from the other side of the earth.
What?
And deep inside of you, when we test your blood, it'll show you exactly where you came from, your origin, where your core is. Does that make sense?
Where are my ancestors?
In Africa.
Who are they?
Who are they?
You.
No, it's a great question. It's the same thing like this Buck. Buck had to find himself. He had to find his true self. That's why traveling is so important. You don't want to stay in your same neighborhood your whole life. You want to jump on a plane, jump on a train, and you want to go find yourself. No silly faces, baby. Okay? Stop that.
No.
All right. So, what's the question that you have?
My question that I have is like, are my ancestors alive by now?
No, they're gone. But you know what?
It's like I'm asking, like, are they alive? Are they alive? Are they a real person?
Can I answer you?
Them?
Can I answer you?
Yeah.
You know where you can see them?
Where?
Inside your blood, inside your soul, inside your inner knowing. Your ancestors are talking to you, and they're reaching out to you the same way Buck's ancestors reached out to him, and it helped him go in certain directions. That's called your inner knowing. Let me hear you say it.
Inner knowing.
Your inner knowing. Your inner knowing is your ancestors speaking to you through your years and generations. They could be gone and dead. It doesn't stop them from communicating with you through who you truly are deep inside. The same thing happened with Buck. But he would have never known that if he lived in that southern house with all those family and all those people. He would have never known that. He would have just been eating everybody's food and bumping everybody till he died. But he searched and he found his true self. That's why you can never get stuck in one place. Because life is a journey of finding who you truly are. And Buck found that in the end. He found his true self. You and I and all of us can talk and listen and learn from our ancestors. That's why going to the library like you do is good. Reading books and learning history is good. Because what you can learn is who you truly are and answer a lot of those questions. But if I test your blood and I test your blood, it goes back to Africa, baby.
We were born in Africa.
No, you were born in Manhattan,
So
inside of a hospital.
So how is it Africa?
Because that's your truth. That's your core. That's where you're original. That's where you're deep down. Forget about that African American stuff. You're ADOS. You're American descendant of slavery here in this country. I'm just telling you that, like Buck found himself, if you have a calling and something inside of you, your inner knowing tells you something, like Buck's inner knowing led him to safety many, many times. Like a lot of people think those are angels.
Yeah,
a lot of people think like angels are following them.
Mm-hmm.
Angels are protecting them. Is it angels or is it the ancestors?
The ancestors.
I would say yes. I would argue absolutely. The movie was good.
Yeah.
2 thumbs up.
Right?
Yes.
I give it 4 out of 5 stars. And I give it a 8 out of 10.
I would give it a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. Good job. What about you, Cody?
I'll give it a 10.
Ooh.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. That's big. What about you, Mom?
I agree with you. 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. Let me tell you, this was no cheap movie. This was a big budget movie. This movie was good. Yeah. And those dogs looked so real. Very little. The only time you could really tell that it wasn't the dog is whenever they tried to touch the dog and pet the dog, the hand of the actor was different. So a lot of people might not notice that the actual hand, so the hand is caressing the dog, and the hand is different than the person who's caressing the dog.
Oh, Dad. The part that I thought was stupid was when he put his foot down, somebody could see his footprint and know that it's you. Know that it was the dog. You know that.
I'm so glad you said that. Go ahead, go for it.
You know that guy who was trying to get them?
Yeah.
He could have walked that way and saw the footprint and followed that.
No, he did not. That's not
Oh,
how.
yeah. Tell.
That's not how it was. How because when he went in the house, he had the gun. He was like, "Open up!" And then he was messing all them stuff. And then he saw a map, so he opened it. And then you remember there was this chalk, and he drew it. He said, "We're gonna go here," and he said, "That's where they are."
Yeah.
And then he put out his map, and it said the same thing. So he went there, and that's when he tried to shoot him.
Okay, I hear what you're saying, and yes, it's true. But let me answer Maddie.
It was his same footprint.
Let me answer Maddie. The footprint is a very, very important part of the movie. Because what happened was, remember when the white wolf came over to Buck,
Yeah.
and Buck and the footprint was on the snow, and then the white wolf turned around and ran off, and Buck looked down at the snow, and Buck moved his footprint, his hand, his paw, and he saw that his paw was exactly like the wolf's paw, and a bell went off that we're the same. This is my family. I like that part. So the part that you said was the dumbest part, to me, was one of the best parts. Because Buck saw his print look just like the wolf's print.
So they were family.
They were family.
So that's when and that's when he said goodbye. This is your home.
Yeah. Oh, we're not gonna talk about none of that. All right. Go see the movie. This is the review with my family.
Give a thumbs up.
I appreciate this. I'm so happy we did this together, y'all.
Yeah, bye.
Boom.
Give a thumbs up.